Hello guys, welcome to today's video. In today's video, we are going to learn about the interface of Photoshop, and we will learn the basic tools that we'll be using most of the time when we are designing a flyer. Okay, so getting started, this is your interface that you'll be introduced when you open your Photoshop software. So on our far left, you have your new file, you have your open, and then you also have this Photoshop icon. Now at the top here, we have the file, the edit, the image, and things, which are the options menu. Now over here, we have your recent projects or your recent designs or recent photos you've opened in Photoshop. Yes. So now, if you're about to start a new project, you click on New File. If you're about to open a project you've already done on your machine, you click on Open. And then we are doing a new project, so we click on what? New File. So when you click on the new file, a dialog box should appear. So when this dialog box appears, we have sizes. You can work with photo sizes here. We have print sizes, that is the A4, A5, A6, and co. We have the art and illustration. We have this. We have posters. We also have for websites. Then we also have mobile phone sizes here, iPhone X, iPhone 8, and the rest. We also have for film and video. So if you're using the design in a video or a film size, we also have all the sizes here. But then we are going to work with art and illustration, the first part, which is a 1000 pixel by 1000 pixel. So when you click on art and illustration at the top here, then double click on this one, a 1000 by 1000. Otherwise, if you want to customize your own size, you come here and you give it, maybe I want the weight to be 1080. You type it there, and if you want the height to be 1350, also type it, and then you click on create. So when you create, it opens up your workspace. But then if you are new to Photoshop, this wouldn't be the interface arrangement you'll be introduced to. So this will be the interface I think you will see. So let me reset this to the default one. So we see reset essentials to default here. So this will be the interface you are going to see. So one thing over here is, when you look at your far left, you have your tools that you'll be working with. Okay, so you have your move tool, mark tool, and the rest. We will come back to it later. At the top bar, we have the options bar and there. So we have a lot of options here to help you navigate through your work. And we also have your panels. So your panels here also are like your tools. Like as an artist, you see that you have a plate where you have your paints and brushes and everything there. So this is something like that. A panel is where you get your colors. You can select the color you want. You also have your swatches, which keeps a list of the colors you've stored or that you've used recently. And you also have patterns you can also save here. And you also have your gradients here. So the gradients. So we have gradients here. So the gradients like a combination of two different colors here. So you have gradients here. So now we also have your properties. This your properties. The properties here refer to the property of a particular element or object you've selected in your workspace. You have your libraries, which contain saved shapes or elements on your design. And we also have adjustment panel. Then you realize that all these things are scattered all over. But then you want to reset back so that you have more space here. You want to go back to default. So you come to your Windows, workspace, and you go to reset essentials. Then it will reset back to the default arrangement. Okay, so first of all, we can rearrange this as you saw it. So I can right click on this. If I want to close it, then I close it. I come to the gradients. If I right click on it, if I want to close it, then I close it. I right click on the patterns. If I want to close it, the same process. Then we have it also got. I can drag this swatches here, and I have my properties. I can also right click on this adjustment and close it. So the ones you need, you keep them. The ones you don't need, you can close them. Now over here on our tools here, toolbar here, we have your move to, you have your shapes here. So you can select the shape you want. So the default, when you open up, you see rectangle. So when you pick this rectangle and I draw, assuming I draw something like this. So with the move tool, this is how it works. When I click on this move tool, then I'll be able to move it. When I click on this rectangle tool, I won't be able to move this thing. What happens is that when I click and drag, it will draw another rectangle. When I click and drag, it will draw another rectangle. When I do that, it will draw another rectangle. So what do? We go to edit, undo, edit, undo, edit, undo, edit, undo. The shortcut is Ctrl+Z. So I go and pick my move tool. Now I can move it to down here. So let's go back to the properties once again. So on the properties panel, like I said, contains the properties of the element you've selected on your canvas. So with this particular canvas, you have the fill color to be this color, and we can change it to white, this color, that color, any color we want. And we also have something called stroke. The stroke will be a line that will be drawn around the object. So this happens to only shapes. So when I pick this color, you are not seeing it well. It is there, but you're not seeing it well unless I increase the size of the stroke. So below the color of the stroke, you see 1 pixel here. So you can increase the size of the stroke here, like that. So before we continue, we also have these 4 figures here. What these do is that they adjust the radius, the corners of this particular shape. So when I click and drag this, it makes it rounded like that. So this is what I get. So let's begin with today's first project, a very simple one. So we learn about how to bring an image into your Photoshop. So we go to our File Explorer, and we will locate the particular image we want to bring into Photoshop. So let's look for this image. Yeah. So what we do is just click and drag it into Photoshop. That's it. Then it will be dropped here. So I can position it here. Then I'm done. I can also increase the size by clicking and dragging the edges like this. You get it? Now I can click OK over here. Now we learned about how to add a rectangle. So let's add a rectangle here. So we see this rectangle, click it once, come back and draw your rectangle over here. Great. So this is what we have. Now we can change the color of this rectangle by coming to the layers. So layers here in Photoshop, the layers is a list of the elements on your design. So whenever you put something on your design, Photoshop tries to keep a list of it for you. So we have our image here, we have your rectangle here. This is your background, okay? So the layers is not anything huge, it's just the list of elements on your design. So when I pick this rectangle, you see that it has been selected. If yours is not selected, you go to the top, you see Show Transform Controls. Make sure it is ticked on or checked. Then you have these around them. Good. Now we can change the color by double click on this particular thumbnail. Not this square icon here, but this particular square inside. So double click on it, and then you have this color panel generated. Then you can select the color you want. And then you click OK. Now we are going to look at how we are going to add text to our design. So to add text, you come to the toolbar, you see this icon with letter T. Click on it once, and at the top here you have the color here. So you can click on it once, then you can select the color you want. So the color you want, you can click and drag. You can select once. So click and drag to the last corner here to get white. Oh, okay. Now I can come to the top here to select the kind of font I want. The font I want is Poppins. So I just type Poppins. If I have it, I think I don't have it here. So then let's learn how to install a font. So you go to the folder where the font is. So right click to extract the font. And then, so with all these fonts, you just select all of them. Right click on one and click on install for all users. So let's wait while it installs all of them for us. Sometimes after installing it, right after installing it, you'll find the fonts on your Photoshop, because it will take some time for Photoshop to find out that you have added a new font to your list. So now let's come back. So we select our type 2 here, click once, come to the top here to select the font name or the name of the font you want to use. So it is Poppins. So now we have it. Good. So click on Poppins Extra Bold. So click OK, and this is the font we're able to add. Now if you want to edit it, let's come back to this folder. I have some content here I would like us to use. So over here we have the first part. Right click and copy. So if you come to Photoshop, you see that with our type 2 selected, when you hover over this, the icon changes. But when you move from it, there is one square around the icon. But when you hover over the text, this square disappears. So when the square disappears, you can click once to re-edit the whole text. So I want to delete everything, Ctrl E to select all, delete everything, and then I can Ctrl V to paste what I copied. Now I can break it down, click here, basket, and then enter. So this is what we have. If I want to increase the font size, click on the move tool, make sure that I've selected this font or this text, and then come to the font size here and change the font size. You see it's too big, so I can keep changing it. Now, and I come to this part here, which is the leading, I can set it. The font size is 18, so we can set it something around 18 or more. So about 24, good. Now this is what you have. This is too bold, I can still reduce it. So this is what we have here. Let's see if you can reduce the leading here. Okay, think it's okay. And reduce this to 16. Good. Now we can add another text here. So we'll show you how to add paragraph text in Photoshop. So let's copy this. Now to add a paragraph text, you click on your type 2, and where you want to add a paragraph text, click and drag to draw a rectangle. With the type 2 selected, when you click and drag, this is what happens. You get this. When you release it, it automatically fills it with text for you. So you can, delete, or you can do anything to this you want to, anything you want. So for me, I would like to reduce the font size to about 10 and reduce the leading to about 14 and reduce the font style to something around regular. Okay, now I can paste the font, the content I want here. Then I have this. So when I click on check here, now I have this here. So this is our first design we do with Photoshop for the first time. You can post it, and I will share the content, the elements and everything here in the description below. So make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and make sure you leave a comment. Okay, so see you in the next project.